Okay. Hi. Welcome. It's time for the town hall and campaign update from this week. My name is Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, or Susan Buchser for short, and I am still a candidate for President of the United States. I have not conceded the job, and I have not conceded the election or the race because there's a lot of votes that haven't been counted. I know that personally because West Virginia did not count my vote, and therefore I know someone voted for me in West Virginia. Now, they've made up all these excuses for why votes are not being counted or why candidates are not being counted, but this is unacceptable. I am and was a candidate, and I will not concede the election until all the votes are counted. So I recently stumbled upon the Green Party. They have something called the Green Papers or something like that, where they had a few votes counted for me on their list. So I did get some votes. And I probably got even more than what's there because, like I said, there are a whole bunch of votes that didn't get counted. A lot of people were forced to do provisional ballots, and then they got canvassed out or voted out. There's like these extra little departments, election departments, that oversee the counting of provisional ballots, and they decide who they're going to throw out or not. So I'm going to assume a lot of women's votes were in there, especially since a woman was in one of the big parties running as a possibility for president, Kamala Harris. So then I'm sure a lot of women's votes were thrown out. And then my understanding is that maybe a lot of African-American votes were also thrown out. So this is unacceptable. This is voter fraud, voter manipulation, election manipulation, and it's unacceptable. It was done by the Democrats and Republicans. There's nobody else who's ever been in charge of our elections, so there's no one else to blame. They're working together, and it's unacceptable. The people in the two parties who are in that Christian national group, they're the ones that are doing it. Shame on them. This is unacceptable. It's un-American, un-US, and it cannot be tolerated. So I call on the FBI, CIA, Secret Service, Homeland Security. These people are terrorists. They've stolen the election again, and they need to be caught, and we need justice. So this is not acceptable. There's somebody watching, so let's see if we can bring him on. No, not working. Okay, not working. Anyway, welcome. So sorry to start off there like that, but that's how it goes. Just to let you know, one of our rights is, as U.S. citizens, is the 14th Amendment, the first section. All persons born or naturalized in the United States. So all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. Okay, I was wrong, actually. I think I made a comment about this recently, and I said that it did not declare that all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction are citizens. All persons born are citizens or all persons born have life. So you are considered a person once you're born. And that was what I was talking about. But Donald Trump's right. All persons born or naturalized, all persons born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. So Donald Trump's right. It does say that here in the 14th Amendment, and that part needs to be a little bit more clear written. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States. So no state shall make or enforce any law. So no state has the right to not count my vote, and no state has the right to not count your vote. And if you are like me and your vote was not counted, that's unconstitutional. Shame on your state and mine. I'm from West Virginia. They didn't count my vote. Not only that, but they refused to let me be an official presidential candidate on their website because I was not registered to vote. But they cannot force me to register to vote. My right is to vote. My right is not to register to vote. So they are making obstacles that they don't have the right to do. No state has the right to do that, which shall abridge my privilege. My privilege is to vote and have it counted. My privilege is to run for political office and have my votes tallied. And that's also a problem with all the other states, is that a lot of them didn't even tally my votes. So this is shocking and it's unacceptable. The Democrats and Republicans are assuming that nobody's going to do anything and they're going to get away with it once again. Well, it's time to put our foot down, USA, and say we're not going to take it. This is baloney what they've done. So the only time when they are allowed to enforce things that take away yours and my rights and liberties is when we've done something criminal. So, for example, Donald Trump, he did something criminal. He has felonies. He was found guilty. So technically, he should and has the possibility, the states have the right to infringe on his liberties and his rights. But they don't have that for me. I'm not a felon. I don't have any guilty. I'm not in prison. I don't have anything. So no state has that right. So I should have been official in every state as a write-in candidate, and all the votes for me should have been counted. It's, period, unacceptable. So they cannot abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So, no state shall deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law. So, they cannot, policemen actually technically can't kill you. Because even if they're chasing you, they're not supposed to kill you, because it has not been due process of the law. Another citizen can't take your life unless you've done something wrong and there was due process to the due process done and it was judged that you deserve to die. So technically, you cannot kill somebody, even in self-defense, because there was no process of the law yet. Liberty or property. So nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property. So no state can deny somebody's life, liberty, or property without due process of the law. Nor deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. So we're all equal. We're all citizens. And also, it doesn't matter if you're born a citizen or if you're naturalized. Once you're naturalized, then you are a citizen as well. The only time, and it's specifically written in here, that you have to be a natural-born citizen to be, I believe, president. I don't know about Congress, but to be president and vice president, you have to be born a U.S. citizen. You cannot be naturalized and then become a citizen, become president. That doesn't work. So that is the first section of the 14th Amendment. So all persons born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States. Okay, so that is true. That's where we have to change that amendment if we're going to stop letting people cross the border and give birth. So that is definitely something that might need to be done. And all persons born in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction are citizens. So you have to be born to be a citizen. Before that, you are not a citizen. So if you're pregnant, your embryo or fetus is not a citizen and it does not have rights. Then, and actually this says state, as far as the state cannot deprive. So as far as self-defense, I suppose self-defense is okay, but technically if there was seen a possibility of it being a purposeful killing, then self-defense won't work either. So be careful with your self-defense concept. Technically, we don't have a right to take anybody's life. Just period, end of story. We don't have that right. So try not to go that route. But one thing I will say is the 13th Amendment, Section 1 states, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude except as punishment for the crime, except for a punishment for crime thereof, the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to its jurisdiction. Let me reread that. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for crime thereof, the party shall have been duly convicted. So prisoners are, it is possible to have them be slaves or involuntarily doing things because they are guilty of a crime. Shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Congress shall have the power to enforce this article by appropriate legislation. So technically, as of December 6, 1865. December 6, 1865, right after the Civil War. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for a crime thereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any state subject to their jurisdiction. So, yeah, the 13th Amendment, I get it now, is not a favorite amendment. Yes, it frees slaves, and it also freed the people working as indentured servants. So it freed both. So it was not just a one for African Americans, but also for European Americans who had servitude as well. It was no longer allowed unless you were a criminal. And then sadly, this happened really right after. So, it was Congress and the Republican Party, and I guess the Democrat Party, I think, was already, I'd have to look that up. I'm not sure who the other party was. I think it was the Democrat Party was somehow already formed as well. And they passed it through Congress. And that's when they started to lock up, I guess, a lot of people so that they could have slavery again. And we heard, yes. So it happened right after. That's really sad. And it gave them the right to lock them up. Shame. Okay, well, the one thing I wanted to say also about the 13th Amendment is that something came to my attention that women, if, let's say, you get pregnant accidentally, whether by a hole in a condom, or somebody raped you, or some other strange situation, you went into a hot tub and you got pregnant, you have the right to terminate that pregnancy, because the embryo or fetus is not a citizen yet if it's still inside of you. So you have the right over your body, because no one has a right to make you go into involuntary servitude, because that's what being a mother is. Being pregnant is involuntarily pregnant if it happens by accident. And mothers are currently not paid for their work. So it is servitude. And in fact, that's what I want to change. That's why I started running for president to bring peace to the world and peace between the religions. But then I got in it because I discovered too there was a lot of issues with motherhood and women, and we needed to work on that. So I've been working on all of these things already, doing as much as I can from where I am. So becoming accidentally pregnant, whether it was you were in enjoyment and you got pregnant because of faulty birth control, or you were raped, or some other way that you are now somehow pregnant, you cannot be forced to keep that pregnancy. You cannot be forced to raise that child. you have the right to terminate your pregnancy. The thing inside of you is not a citizen yet. It has to be born to be a citizen. So, 13th Amendment. It's a good and bad one. We need to free our slaves again, sadly. We got a lot of people in jail, in prison, who are rightfully or wrongfully convicted of crimes that are, first off, stupid. A lot of drug crimes are not really crimes, in my opinion, and people should not be convicted of possession of certain drugs anymore. And then we have some real wrongfully convicted people, simply because, somebody made an error, or they were able to scare somebody into a confession. So, we got a lot of weird tactics out there that need to go away. And we need to free some people from prisons too, male and female. And, but then we also can't force women to keep pregnancies, because the pregnancy is involuntary servitude if she was not intending to do it. So, if she's not already on vitamins when she gets pregnant, then that's involuntary servitude, and she shouldn't be able to get a termination of pregnancy. End of story. I mean, first off, you have to share your body, so that's servitude too. Then it takes 20 years minimum to raise a child, so that's servitude as well. I would like to change all that and make it easier on everybody, so that maybe we get even more women saying yes to accidental pregnancies. But maybe if we pay women to actually be mothers for 20 years, we might see women purposefully getting pregnant, getting on vitamins, so that we have the best quality citizens that we can have. But currently, we don't have women being paid for that important job that they do. They're slaves. They're slaves to our country, and they're slaves to their child, and they're slaves to their community, and it's not acceptable. It's time women get paid to be mothers. It's gone on long enough. And it's time to separate. Each individual pays taxes on whatever money they earn, or they don't pay taxes on money that they earn, because we need to get rid of the head of the household. That is servitude as well. Being a dependent is servitude. You're not getting paid. So it's time to upgrade. It's time to move forward into the new millennium, take a step into this new century, and really, really show that we've grown as a people, as a country, as a nation. Women are citizens too. Men are not more citizens than women. So, sorry. Women are citizens too. And it's time to stop this baloney. You men have messed with our rights as human beings long enough. Men are not more of a citizen than women. In fact, women, if anyone should be more of a citizen, it should be women, because we produce all the citizens. You cannot produce citizens. We produce citizens, we women. A male baby comes out or a female baby comes out, or sometimes it's intersex or all the variations. But they come out of women. They come out of people with uteruses. So this is unacceptable. It's time women get paid for their important work. All right. So now that we've gone over some of the Constitution, and even I suddenly learned something. So this is my to-do list. I don't know if you remember it from about a year ago. So the first thing on my to-do list, because I'm already working, it's not like I'm not working for you already. I still got that lawsuit pending with the Supreme Court. They didn't deliver it to my home, so it's still out there with them. So I'm hoping that they'll do something about it. And then we can really get the country going forward. I mean, Trump's doing some stuff that I don't mind. Then he's doing some weird stuff, spending lots of money on things I don't think we need. I need to find the logic behind it. I wish he would talk to me. Maybe we could really get the country going in a good way. But anyways, yeah, we need constitutional work as well. I mean, that could be why he didn't put his hand on the Constitution either, or on the Bible, because our Constitution is so messed up right now. We need to rewrite that as well. And I've been already saying that for 4 years. So we definitely need that. So my first thing on the list is end election fraud and manipulation. So that's number one. And I'm working on it. I still got that lawsuit pending. Hold a new election with new system of voting. Yes. We need to get rid of computers. We need to go back to pen and paper. And we need transparency. And I need you folks out there, if you're not running for office, you need to be involved in the election process so that we can get the fraud out of the system. So the Democrats and Republicans, they got people to serve so that they can, they can manipulate. And they've been doing it for so long now. But we need transparency, and we need elections without fraud. And the only way to do that is if the people get involved. So I need you to spend 1 to 2 hours each election process, each election time, to help out one way or another. You need to do it. We need that help, because otherwise we're just being dictated to, and our views are not being heard. Then the Democrat and Republican parties must pay for damages. Yes, they've stolen our votes for at least, I just read it and discovered that the Republicans put that into place right after the Civil War. So that's like over 150 years they've been damaging us and manipulating us in a Christian way to make us a more Christian country. Not only that, but more Mormon country, because Mormons, they don't see dark people as citizens, I guess. I don't know. You'd have to ask a Mormon, but they have strange beliefs on who's allowed to be a citizen or not. So this is a huge problem. We got religions that are even against certain groups in our country. That's not really a good religion. So as you know, in my lawsuit, I have that they do pay damages to each one of us who are of voting age. And then also I want an apology. That I forgot to put in my lawsuit. So I want an apology from the heads of the two big parties. They've stolen the elections constantly. And you know what they do? They get all that money, and I finally figured out what they're doing with all that money they get. They are paying the media to be quiet about the rest of the candidates running for office. So there were over 400 presidential candidates this past election. And how many did you hear about? 2? Maybe you heard about 4. You're lucky if you heard about 10. 400. So this is... something's wrong, folks. We're doing, if you pay media to be quiet, it's called hush money payments. It's illegal. It's bribery. Is this what you want, USA? It's not what I want. Then, the next thing is pay mothers to stay home and raise the next generation of U.S. citizens. Training and benefits are included. Yes, we need to get that immediately going forward. There's lots of great people out there who have great ideas, and we need to bring those in and get them working. So, we've sadly, when the witch trials were, and all the trials about religion and whatnot, many centuries ago, they killed off a lot of information, is what they did. The Christian nationals of the day. And they destroyed this beautiful thing called birth, when they let men take over who have no idea what's going on in the first place. And it's unthinkable what we women have to endure because men thought they knew better than what other women knew. And it's time to reclaim birthing and motherhood. It's an art, it's a skill, it's a job, and we need to get paid for it. Okay, then back to one of my things is the operation called abortion. There are different ones. And the one that they always seem to talk about whenever there's right to life groups talking is one that is pretty dangerous and it's pretty stupid. And again, it came because men were getting involved with the birthing process. Now, back in the 60s, apparently, how they used to remove embryos when they were needing to terminate pregnancies, what they did was the doctors used to put their hand into the woman's vagina and then into her uterus, and with their fingers they could easily peel away the embryo, so the placenta, from the wall of the uterus. And they would just do it with their hands. And then at some point, somebody came up with this brilliant idea, which isn't brilliant, I'm making a joke, idea of using these, cutting tools inside the uterus, which then they, of course, accidentally, they might get the woman. And I don't know if a lot of these women who have died in an abortion, botched abortion, if they were accidental. I think you know what I mean. So this operation called abortion, not the first type, But the second type, with these tools that you have to go in and crush the baby up and cut it up, and then you take it out that way, that is not a good abortion technique, and it's not really necessary. So I would agree with the right to lifers on that one. Let's get rid of that technique. It's called a D&E. So we can definitely get rid of that technique. We don't need it. And in fact, I would say let's go back to using our hands. It's safer. There's no way to puncture a woman with your hand. And then you can tell better that you got everything too if you're going in to remove fetal or embryonic tissue. The problem is with these medical tools, they don't have feeling and they don't have sight. And you're using maybe an ultrasound to see where you are. And so you make mistakes. Well, by going back to using your hand, you can feel things, and you can feel deformities, you can feel things that are right or wrong, and you can see through your mind's eye where your hand is and what it's touching. So then there's no question as to what you're doing. And it's very, very easy. So there is no need to bring in medical instruments to do these types of activities. And then you'll have less mistakes and more successes. And in fact, I think that if you accidentally get pregnant, you can then have your embryo removed, and perhaps you can have it frozen, until you're ready to use the embryo. But the doctors have to be then very careful, and they need to use probably their hand to get it out carefully, because with their hand they have touch and they have vision, and they can see and feel where they are in the uterus. With the tools, with the medical tools, you cannot do that. So, this is a new twist to the whole abortion question. And as I read before, the 13th Amendment says the states don't have a right to force you into involuntary servitude without being guilty. And so if you get raped, you're certainly not guilty. But if the condom breaks, then the condom manufacturer is guilty for producing a faulty product, right? And so if you're trying not to be pregnant and you get pregnant because of an accident of the birth control, then you should also not be forced into involuntary servitude, because you're not guilty of anything. Sexual intercourse is not a crime. So there is no need to continue unless you decide to. And in fact, like I said, I want to pay mothers, so I'm trying to help to make it actually a choice then. If something accidentally happens, you can decide, hey, I would like to keep this. But getting back to that operation called abortion, the D&E is a dangerous one, and I highly recommend, making that unacceptable. We should make that a criminal form of abortion, and not only on humans but on animals too. And but girls and women should always have the right to terminate pregnancies that are unwanted and accidental. Then the next thing is on my list is to have fathers get 1 day off a week, paid, also with insurance and everything, to be fathers. It's time that dads get paid for their important work too. I mean, moms are full-time, dads are part-time. For dads, it's just 1 day a week. For moms, it's all week long. But of course, if dad's on duty, then you have time off too. There's going to be a whole bunch of new things coming with my family concept, with my motherhood concept. And the idea is to have happy and healthy parents and happy and healthy citizens, and so that we can move beyond the stress that we now have, and just the unfortunate way we're raising families now. So I'm trying to bring back the family unit, but in a different way, where everybody is their own citizen, their own responsibility, but yet also a family. Because I think, families are great when they don't have a lot of stress and when everything is working properly. I've seen it elsewhere in the world, and I know it's possible. So I want to pay fathers 1 day a week to be a father, to be there for their kids. And the reason why I want to do that is because I know a lot of fathers are having to work 2 and 3 jobs just so that they can feed and clothe and send their kids to school. And it shouldn't be like that. Fathers also need to be around and need to enjoy their kids. Because kids grow up pretty quick, it's only 20 years and then they're grown. But they need a father figure as well. Then, to celebrate our 250 years, I want us to rediscover our own ancestry. Each one of us. So all U.S. citizens who are born to a U.S. citizen, they will have a right to have a vacation to a place of their ancestry. Whether it's Europe or Africa or Asia or South America, you will be able to go there to celebrate our 250th anniversary of our country. And what I'd like you to do during that time, it'll probably be about a 3-week vacation paid for by Uncle Sam. And you will go to wherever you have decided and have some nice experiences there. Maybe you'll even find some family members, or maybe you'll find people who are related to you but you didn't know. But mostly I want you to go and see your roots. Get a feel for where your ancestors came from, and to maybe bring back new understanding of our country, and also maybe you'll see something interesting there that an idea, a job or something that you want to bring back to the USA to help make the USA a better place. So, we're only going to be 250 years old. There are countries out there that are thousands of years old. So, we got a long road ahead of us, and it's up to all of us, the people, to make it a great country. Not just one, not just a figurehead, not just an idol worship type thing, but all of us. My RV is shaking a lot, and I don't know if it's people doing it or if it's wind. I know there's a lot of wind, and then there are cars going by. Okay. So, there we have the root idea to go back to our ancestors. And then, yeah, we're working on it together. So, I want to change our voting system where you get to vote regularly. We're going to get rid of the House of Representatives. We don't really need them anymore. They're just wasting money, and they all have expense accounts, and they have apartments in DC, and it's just all not necessary. So I think we need to have a talk. And then I'm going to need you, the people, to start voting on things. So you'll be getting a package 2 to 3 times a year with things you need to vote on. You know, everything from military spending to a new bridge or a new airport or a speed rail or something. So anyways, get ready for that. But you'll be given the information you need to make an educated decision, and then we'll be working together. So that is what my to-do list says. There we go. I'm glad I found it again. I've been moving about so much and switching countries, it's hard to keep track of everything. Okay, so I seem to be shaking a lot here. I gotta go outside and see what people are doing outside. I heard somebody out there before, so I hope nobody's getting into trouble. Anyways, that's my news for now. So that my town hall and campaign update. I will say that I want peace between the nations, and I think there are solutions. As we know, all war ends in negotiation anyways, so we may as well sit down and negotiate now. Might does not make right. So I call for a ceasefire everywhere. I call for everybody to be civil to each other. There is a way to go together forward in peace. Let's figure out how to do that together. Okay. So thank you for stopping by. I enjoyed our conversation today, and I wish you a good rest of your day wherever you are. I am Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, Susan Buchser for short. I am a candidate for President of the United States, and I have a website describing a little bit more about me and my policies and also my lawsuit. Plus, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter, YouTube, not so much Instagram, but a little bit on Instagram this time, but mostly on Facebook. I got many Facebook pages, or this one is my main one for this campaign. But I did run in 2020, and I ran for Congress in 2022 until I discovered so much fraud I had to stop and start suing my government. So that's where we are, folks. If you want to look that up, you can visit me at my website, susan4usa.com. That's Susan, the number 4, USA.com. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day.